Um, so Allison and I go back to high school when we were in a youth group together. So we were little creative people back then. But since then, she's done consulting. She's taught classes at Miami Ad School. She's a career coach. Now she's at the Flatiron School. Uh, just kind of a super brilliant mind that I think we're very fortunate to have you kicking off the week. I think you'll set a great tone for everything. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in and giving us a chance to do something that really we have no business doing, but here we are. So, or at least the sideshow, Allison knows what she's doing. So I'm going to hand this over to you then.
Well, thank you so much, Josh, for having me, and welcome everyone to Side Project to Dream Job. You poured your blood, sweat, and tears into a side project from concept to launch, and I'm going to tell you what to do today to blow it up. So, just a little bit about myself. My name is Alison Taffel Rabinowitz. I'm a career coach in New York, but I work with people all over the world. People in the advertising industry know me from Miami Ad School, where I literally teach the class on how to get a job. And I'm also Alison Taffel Rabinowitz on Instagram if you want to follow me there. Jump in the chat since we can't meet in real life. I love networking and I'm going to talk about that today. So jump in the chat, let me know your Instagram handle so we can be friends. To tell you about my business card, I'm the only person who pulls off an F word on their business card, but that's because I'm founder of the Finishing School, which is an educational consulting firm based on the ideas that we should unlearn the manners that we were taught as young girls and gain the confidence and skills needed to be boss ladies today. With that being said, I teach classes to women and men and help with customized one-on-one plans, and my business is geared towards just helping people with the confidence that they need to earn more and to get their dream job. I have actually worked across both publishing and advertising. I was a creative director at Purpose, if any of you guys are familiar with them. I'm on the copywriting side, but also on the strategy side, creative strategy in the publishing world, working for brands such as Food and Wine, Travel and Leisure, Rolling Stone, Inc. magazine. I also was head of brand for my startup, Open Me, which was a greeting card company in partnership with Threadless. And how I'm going to tell you how I became a career coach a little bit today. But let me just tell you, I'm just excited to be here with Sideshow and to teach you how to turn your side project into your dream job. So here's some ways you can keep learning with me if you like this class today. You can sign up for the Finishing School and check out my beautifully illustrated negotiation guide. This is my side project, and how my career coaching kind of took off was from my side project. I was teaching a class at General Assembly that I pitched to them called How to Be the Beyonce of Your Career. And one day there was a woman who was doodling some notes in class, and I just thought it was so unique and so rad and so illustrative that I immediately asked her to collaborate with me on a zine that would make it fun to get paid more. So that's a little bit about my first side project. I got a really cool opportunity from that side project, collaborating with other creatives. I was asked to speak at something called 100 Under 100, which, if you haven't heard of, definitely look up the hashtag 100 Under 100 on Instagram. You'll see super cool projects, but it's another community where creatives celebrate other creatives, and you get up and speak for about 5 minutes on your project. And we got a chance to talk about how we made it and the history of zines and the impact we were making. So we sold about 150 of the zine across the country on Squarespace and gathered a social media community enough to launch another side project. And this is a career karma kit for Halloween. It includes a magic spell, an intention setting ritual on Zoom, a kit that was mailed out before Halloween, actually mailed it out today, with a candle, a gold pen, a boss lady lighter from the zine. And everything was packaged up in this way that was personal to my brand, but also personal to what I like helping people do, which is get their dream jobs. So cool news is it sold out in less than 5 days on Instagram. And I'm going to tell you my secrets of how I did something like that. So everybody's going to want to take out either a pen and paper or open a Google Doc because we're going to workshop a little bit of this stuff. And I think this thing is that people just don't get a chance to really workshop pumping themselves up and, blowing themselves up and telling other people about the awesome work that they're doing. So that's what we're going to do today. And I just want you to be ready to write it all down. If you can send it and make it go live during this class, then you took something off your to-do list. So I encourage you to just be, proactive today. And if not, if you feel like you need a draft and you're, a copywriter, and I know some people can't just like throw things off into the internet, you can put it in the Google Doc and push live later. But if you are feeling risky and feel like you are not scared of failing, then that's what I encourage you to do. Just like Josh was talking about with the sideshow, he didn't know what it was going to be, but he had goals for it and he just tried and put something out there, and look what it became today. So side project plus networking equals dream job. So we're going to talk about how to leverage your project to get a meeting with the dream company and ultimately impress and engage creatives you admire. So every semester, I give my students an assignment to make a side project that'll stand out to an employer. And this is one of my students' projects. It was called Bongable, where she started making bongs from household items in her childhood house during COVID lockdown. And she sold them on the internet to raise money to support those incarcerated for marijuana charges. And I told her to make it relevant to the agency she wanted to work for. So she drafted up bongs for her favorite agencies and sent along an email introducing herself, talking about her side projects, and also showing the bong that she made for them. She made so many connections and is happily at an internship and growing her network for when she graduates. So just a chance for you guys to read them. Pretty cool bongs, I think. And the Chianti was good. But if you want to check out her website, I think it's I can send that afterwards if you want to check it out. But I thought this was a pretty cool one. So here are the 3 things that you need to do this. You need confidence, you need storytelling skills for an elevator pitch, and you need strategic outreach. So first, we're going to talk about confidence. So a lot of people say fake it till you make it. And you hear this line all the time. But really, there's something wrong about the word fake it. And really, it should be make it till you make it. And that's really the thing behind side projects is you're just making something and putting it out into the world. And so if you dare, go change your Insta bio right now to promote you. I can't encourage this enough. Some people just put like a funny sentence or where they're from. But if you put what you're working on in your Insta bio and you put it up there, like people will click on it and you will start to see traffic to your website about your project or see sales of something that you made if you're making, a design that's on t-shirts or something like that. I really encourage you just take the next 5 minutes. And if you haven't put it up on LinkedIn, if you haven't put it up on Facebook before, we forget about the social media networks that we have, and we have a lot of them. So maybe you've been ignoring your LinkedIn audience for a really long time, but I definitely think you should take a chance, pick one place of social media and brag about your side project. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to tell you a story of how I did this once and it got me a job. So I'm going to put the timer on for 5 minutes and you're going to go do that. Blow your shit up. Tell everyone about the awesome thing you did. And as you're doing it, share in the chat where you put it so we can all look for it and what your website is if you have it already. Got about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Got about 1 minute left. Okay. So now that you blew your shit up, next thing we're going to talk about is storytelling and elevator pitch. So the big thing is you just have to get used to talking about yourself. And that's something that's hard. So we're going to practice here today. it's really your ticket to anything, your dream job, a book deal, funding, production money. And there's really just these things that you need to include to really tell the story. So take a second to write these 3 things down that really will help you. It is the insight of what got you there. So the why behind the project, a summary of the campaign, telling a compelling story, and the results you delivered. You were able to get brand awareness. People spent more time on the site. You were able to generate more brand affinity, whatever it might be. So just like I talked about Bongable, I said the insight was that she was stuck in her house during COVID and was bored, and people were stuck behind bars for marijuana charges. And she wanted to connect the two and found that insight together to create a compelling story of making bongs as an art director to represent stories that would sell bongs online and raise money to deliver awareness and money to help with legal charges. And she really was able to have an elevator pitch that was really succinct. So what we're going to do is see how long, if you guys can, just pound in the chat and I will pick you to pitch. Or if you feel comfortable, you can pitch it in the chat. So I'll go back a slide real quick. And you can see the insight that got you there, a summary of the campaign, and the results you delivered. Anyone feeling like they could pitch on camera? Just put pound in the chat if you're feeling like you could pitch in the camera. And tell everybody about your cool project. If not, if you don't have a side project and you're just thinking about having a side project, you could talk about a campaign that you've recently done. It could be for school, it could be for work. Maybe Kieran, would you be up for it? I'm going to stop share for a second. Sure. Okay, awesome. Hold on. I just have to make you a... Uh-oh.
I just did it for him.
Oh, you did it for him. Thank you very much. Sorry, guys.
Oh,
All
okay.
right, Kieran, try to give us your elevator pitch.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
How did the insight start?
Yeah, no, you know, I try to write like I try to make a short film or whatever whenever I can, or whenever like an idea kind of hits me. And the video that I put up that I just added to my Instagram bio, that was just it was written the first month of COVID, and I was blown away by how many people. Like I went to a Target, and I ended up getting a hand sanitizer from a postman, and I was like super freaked out by taking, by like sharing, like grabbing this from his hand. And then at one of the local grocery stores, they were publicizing that that if you got hired by them and you worked at the grocery store, you could make $300 if you stayed for like 10 days. You know, like if you worked for them long enough.
Wow.
And so I made a short film that was like just kind of a spoof about, but it was also like kind of a salute to the essential workers who are underpaid and who don't have health insurance. So I kind of just made this video that kind of highlighted that craziness.
Wow. And what do you think that you could do like action wise to get it to have a bit of a social echo?
Well, what I usually do is once I make something is like I'll email it out, like obviously my social channels, and then I'll like kind of reach out to a lot of like creative directors that I'm friends with or like different people that I have relationships with, um, just to kind of like get people's eyes on it. And then the only thing, like I think I tweeted out and put on Instagram and tried to tag like Target and a few of the other places. But then the only thing that I've really seen to get, I seem to get like um, some positive feedback from is just putting it up on Film Freeway and then like
Mhm.
submitting it for
That's a
shows
great thing
or
to
movies
share.
or film festivals. But if
What
there's a
about,
better way to do it to like highlight so I could do more of this, I would love it.
and what about entering it into any festivals?
Yeah, that's what I do. Like anything that I can afford, really.
Anything that you can afford. And what about having some kind of press release for it that you could send off to press?
Please educate me on this.
Ah, yes. So really, I think that if you were looking for that, you really just need to come up with a list of who you think might cover it. So maybe it could be in the New
Funny or
Yorker.
Die. I'm gonna add in like Funny or Die. Like I
Yeah,
submitted
it
to
could be
that,
in
and then I
Funny or
put another
Die.
one.
Maybe it could be on the like. I'll give you a little story of, you'll think this is funny, but it was a side project. When my husband proposed to me, he actually knew that my favorite part of New York Magazine was the approval matrix, which, if you're not in New York and you don't know New York's magazine's approval matrix, it's the back page of every single issue, and it breaks everything that's happened in the news into a visual metaphor of highly like ridiculous and amusing things. And basically, my husband stole my copy the week that he proposed to me and replaced it with moments from our relationship. And when I saw it, of course, I said yes. But I also said this needs to be in the press. And I got it in the hands of New York Magazine, and it ended up being in the back cover of the weddings issue. So sometimes just being insistent and emailing someone being like, this is so good, you have to cover it. Like, we just sometimes don't think to ask. And it sometimes just needs to be a very simple email of like, this is what it is, this is why you should cover it. And really being able to network out there and looking on LinkedIn of who's a producer there, who can you talk to, how do you get them on a digital coffee, which would be getting them like face to face over Zoom to tell them about your project. And people are looking for things. So anytime I do something interesting, I have one contact that I made at the Today Show, and I wrote her immediately and said, my Halloween kits sold out. Or is there any room on the Today Show for fun things happening for Halloween? But really, I reach out blindly all the time to people just because I'm not scared to blow my stuff up. So Kieran, I mean, think first of who your hot list is, pick 5 places in the media, and then just scour LinkedIn for who are editors that you can send it to.
Love it. Yep.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, Jack, do you want to go next? Or Leha? Anybody? We'll take one more. Julia? Anybody?
Jack said sure, so I'll
Jack,
speak
sure.
over.
Awesome. Hey, Jack.
Hey
Make
guys.
sure you're unmuted.
How you doing? What's your project?
So my project is Greener Grass. So I just posted about it in the chat, but I'm currently a media planner trying to switch over to creative.
Oh, awesome.
And spent like the past 2 years or so, yeah, trying to work on my portfolio. I didn't go to portfolio school or anything, so I've been doing it a lot on my own. And I notice how on social media, there's not really a place for you to see like other young creatives work, because you're always seeing like who's already in the agencies or like art directors work themselves or creative directors work, but I never really saw the young up and coming creatives. So I wanted to create a place and a platform where you could see the work in an accessible area, because everyone's on social media. So I took it upon myself to create that platform.
That's awesome. And that's helping people in so many ways. Have you like found places where, like, what's your top places you'd like to show up that people would know about you?
I think maybe doing some sort of partnership with some of the ad schools. Like I've highlighted, I think, 28 or so young creatives at this point, a lot of them students from the Creative Circus and Miami Ad School and VCU. So I think doing some sort of cool connection with the school itself, where I could put my platform in front of these kids so they have the opportunity and
Awesome.
know what's going on.
Yeah, you networked in the right place, Jack. Hit me up after this and I'll see what I can do to get you in front of Miami Ad School, and see if there's any way to get you in front of SVA people, because I know some people there. And also, I think that like finding a way to get involved in Ad Week would be really interesting for you. I think being able to show people, you know, ways to make their work more accessible is an interesting story that is a topic that people are interested in. So figuring out like, who is there an editor at Advertising Week? Is there something at the conference that I integrate well into? You know, how do I reach the audiences? Because you know who your audience is. You just have to get creative about how you're going to get them. So I think that the schools is a good start, but also
Definitely.
looking at, you know, other award shows, other like media platforms that people read. So what else would that be? Fast Company. Like, how do you get an editor at Fast Company's attention? And usually I find for me, like, I find writers that I love all the time that'll be for Fast Company, for Inc., for New York Times. And I follow them on Instagram or Twitter, and I DM them when I think something's interesting that I want to talk to them about. And that's, I get to this point a little later in my presentation, but go to the people who are giving. It's so important to not just like think the world is like you can just blindly reach out to everybody and everyone's going to write back. You're going to face some sort of rejection. But if you go to the people who are giving, who are already on being interviewed on podcasts, they're already writing Medium articles, they're already actively engaging in Twitter, they're already, you know, say that they're a creative director on their profile on social media, and they are more likely to answer your DMs if they are putting themselves out there as not like private. Also use LinkedIn. I think people are like get tired of LinkedIn, but LinkedIn does work. So I would definitely say to reach out for that for yours, but very cool project.
Quick side note, most of the publicity that we did for Sideshow was on LinkedIn. That was like our primary form, so it works.
People forget it, and it really does work. And the more, and it's not just about posting things on it, it's about interacting with other people and their posts as well. So it's a social network, so you have to be social on it, not just like produce content, but also be social with other people. So that kind of helps you build more of a following as well, and joining professional groups and being able to post about your stuff in there as well really, really helps. Hashtags really help as well. So, okay, I will go back to presentation mode.
Thank you for
Yeah, your project's awesome. Okay, so we included the insight of what got you there, a summary of the campaign, the results you delivered, and we brainstormed on how to actually deliver on that. So we pound to pitch. Great. So the last thing is strategic outreach, which we just started to touch on. So go to the people who are giving. I just talked about this. There's awesome Slack groups. I know that we're all used to using, Slack groups to stay connected with communities, but it's a great place to promote your work. I know that one of the Slack groups that I hear is really, really awesome is where all the Black designers. That one's awesome. Ladies Get Paid is really awesome. But it's better than just putting yourself in fishbowl and swimming around with lots of complaints. Is go to the places that people are giving from an educational perspective. Actually use LinkedIn, and the more you come up with people's feeds, the more opportunities will come your way. So the next thing you need to know is do your homework. Show people you're a fan. When you write them, you want to read recent press articles and blogs about them. You want to stalk their LinkedIn feed, and you want to mention that you admire them and you're looking to build your network, but don't come off creepy. Also, don't use the pick your brain. People kind of don't like that because they feel like they should be charged to pick your brain. If you hate that term, don't use it yourself. But when you write them, tell them that you admire their work and that you like what they've put out, and tell them why, or tell them that you just listened to a podcast with them on it, and tell them that you are looking to build your network and want to meet with them. So don't forget your ask. That's one of the most important things, is to solidify the connection. You really need to make it face to face. An email back and forth doesn't really do anything for you, but someone's more likely to help you if they have a coffee with you face to face on Zoom or Google Hangout. And what's most important is that you treat it like a regular meeting. Don't have all of the like flopping about of when is this going to happen. Send them an actual Google invitation with the information and plan for the call. Have an agenda for yourself and follow up. Write them a thank you note. And for every person you meet, ask, is there someone that you think that I should meet? So for the next activity, I'm going to give you guys about 7 minutes. I want you to write out an email to one person. It can be anybody, but someone who you think will have impact for your creative project. So I will put the thing on for 7 minutes. And use this time, because otherwise you will put this off. So use this time to actually write the email to someone. Tell them you admire them. Tell them what you're working on. Tell them you want to meet with them. Got about 4.5 more minutes. But I only give you 7 minutes because it should only take 5 minutes. And I want to prove to you guys that reaching out to brag about your stuff doesn't really take as much time as we think. It just takes emotional energy. So this is a good place that we're in a safe place together and can do it. Two and a half more minutes. About a minute and a half. Okay, if you wrote an email, give me a X in the chat so that I know that you're done. Awesome. Julia, are you brave enough to go on camera to tell us who you wrote? Or you don't have to go on camera, but yes, awesome. Not camera. You don't have to go on camera, just audio. Let's see. Can you help Julia get in?
Yeah, give me a second.
Awesome. No problem.
Yep, she's good.
Awesome. Julia, what's your side project?
Uh-oh, you cut out there.
What's your
So my side, so it's open office plan, and it's a kind of a selfish side project. I basically started it to help get myself out of the house. I actually started working remote before COVID happened and before everyone went on quarantine. And I just knew that it wasn't healthy to stay home all the time. I'm very introverted, and I knew it wasn't healthy, like mentally, but also just from a creative standpoint, you know, ideas exist out in the world. So I created Open Office Plan to get me out of the house and out into the world and kind of work on my photography skills, even though I'm a copywriter. So
That's awesome. And have you ever thought about doing an event for creative mornings for your idea?
no, I haven't. I've heard of creative mornings,
You
though.
should definitely attempt to go to an event because they're awesome to begin with and they're free, but they're a great way for you to tell other people about your project if you offer to teach a class for them about your project.
Okay, cool.
And all you have to do is go to one of them and then write the moderator in the middle and say, hey, I'd like to pitch a class to tell people about my creative idea, and they'll give you the contact information.
Okay, yeah, that would be super. Definitely like way out of my comfort zone, but that's what you got to do. So
Yeah, definitely. So who did you write?
so this is awkward. I actually wrote you. I figured that would be a first step. I felt bad because you called me out.
No, that's perfect.
As the last person to share my pitch, and I was like, well, I'm gonna write her and tell her like I want to pitch my idea. I was just too terrified to do it.
No, it's totally okay.
Yeah, so
That's awesome. I think that your idea is really, really great, and I think that we just have to think of places that you could, you know, turn it into like a short PowerPoint, just like what I just did for you guys, but about your project and how people can get involved. So what would that look like if you taught a class on what you're doing?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it as an extension. I knew it could be something that could possibly help other people like me that are obviously, like a lot of people are working remote now, but there's a lot more, you know, permanently remote people. And it could definitely be something where I share kind of the tools and resources and maybe the steps that it took to try to live a more kind of creative, open lifestyle as a remote copywriter. So
yeah, I mean, you know, I'll tell you a place for you to look that will be great. And this is advice for everyone: is always try to find things that are similar but different to what you're doing. So something that people are doing right now, it's called Cave Day. If any of you guys have ever heard of it, but a bunch of people get together virtually and co-work in a room, on a Zoom room, and they have like stretching breaks and they have like breakouts where they might go network with each other, but everybody like pays to be part of this cave day. And I did one of them and it was really great because they were like, hide your phone, we're all going to be productive for 45 minutes. And I got so much done, just like I was making you guys write your emails today during this class. I got so much done. So like, I feel like Cave Day and looking them up will be a really great example for you to look at, Julia, of like of what they do and like how you could also like extend your brand.
okay. And are they on all the platforms or one specific?
I think they just have a website called Cave Day.
Okay.
And then I think that they just do it on Zoom, but they might have an Instagram. I'm probably.
Okay.
I just learned about them from Creative Morning, so that was why it all kind of comes full circle.
Very cool. I could take that very literally because one of my locations was going to be to work from an actual cave.
Perfect.
Yeah, there you go.
And another thing press-wise for you to look up would be, you know, telling Fast Company like how you're working, because so many people are, you know, micro entrepreneurs trying to figure stuff out. Like telling the audience that already reads the kind of stuff that needs what you are making is just writing an editor that you find on LinkedIn and saying, hey, I've got a really good idea for you. Would you cover it? And sometimes it's just kind of being, you know, a little bit, you know, what is the word I'm looking for? Just not scared to fail. And I think that you have a great idea and that could really help a lot of people right now.
Well, thank you so much for
no problem.
Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you guys for doing those emails. Because we had a little less people today, we're not going to be as long of a class as I thought. But if any of you guys have a cool project, feel free to write me, and I will happily give you tips to reach out to more people. Okay, so you're Karen. I can give you more ideas. Making a media kit for yourself that you can send off to a hit list. So I start with, what are 10 podcasts I want to be on? What are 10 places I want to be written up in? What are 10 you know, video shows that could be like YouTube shows that I'd like to be included in? And it's just thinking of it as PR for yourself, and really just not being scared to write people, and being able to identify who the right people are by saying, who is my audience and what do they read, listen to, and enjoy in their free time and when they're looking for inspiration around my idea. So that's all I have for you guys today. If there's any more questions, I'm happy to answer them.
And I was going to say that everyone who's in here, like, you're motivated people. That's why you're here. And if you want to get your project in front of other motivated people who can help you out, this would be a good time to maybe promote what you're working on, because you never know where help is going to come from. I met Sunita, who helped me found this on Fishbowl, because she had just moved to Los Angeles and didn't know what to do. So we just met up for coffee. And then, not even a year later, we made the sideshow. So, use every networking event to your advantage. So if anyone, wants to share the projects that they're working on, now's a great time to do it.
Yeah. And I will happily throw out ideas for you. If anybody is not scared to come on, just type X in the panel in the chat, and I will.
Okay, we got Leah. So let me go ahead and unmute her. Hey, Leah.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, thanks. It's Leah. Yeah, just
I'm sorry.
H. Well, this is actually great timing. My partner and we just finished this. We're photographers, and we just finished this personal project about voting called, it's #VoteLoud, and we photographed 50 people, including ourselves, and asked them to get in front of the camera and sort of show how they were feeling about the state of the world and the state of politics these days, and get loud. And so we just finished it up, and so now we have these photos, and we're like, okay, we've got a week. So
yeah, like reach out, find NBC, CNN, MSNBC, like everything, every single channel that's covering election stuff, and write their editors and say, like, I have amazing content for web that could make a slideshow. Would you be interested? Like, just come up with every press hit you can come up with. And it's super easy to write a press release. You just need to say who you are very quickly, and feel free. I'm happy to read your quick emails that you're putting together and tell you that I think they're good. feel free to email me them, and I can also help you if I come up with any connections for you as well. But I mean, that's the kind of thing that CNN is looking to cover, that stuff right now. Like
Okay.
amazing, evoking pictures of people voting right now. And they just don't have the contacts of creatives to reach out to. So you reach out to them on LinkedIn, or find their email address through press releases.
Okay. Okay, great. All right. That's super helpful. And I'll send you an email with the project right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I would love to look at it. I'm trying to think of where else. Have you heard of something called supermajority?
No,
So there's this, I'm just looking it up as we speak, but that comes to mind as content that they might like. It's a home for women's activism, and it's it's not a doesn't raise money. It just raises awareness for voting, and they might be a great contact for you. And I'm sure that they have a PR person. Just look it up on their website.
okay, great.
All right, I'm reading the chat. Let's see. Oh, awesome. The Availist. Did I say that right? Availist?
Yeah, avail list. Jeff, do you want to be put on? I'm gonna go ahead and put Jeff on. Okay, Jeff, you can talk.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? And hi, Allison. Can you hear me?
Hi. Jeffrey, Jeff, you want to tell us about your project?
Yeah, sure. So my friends Amy, Jess, and I started the Avail List pretty much right when COVID hit, and when all the jobs in our industry kind of came to a screeching halt, because we just saw, it was kind of crickets for jobs, and a ton of people posting every day that they were looking for work and in need of work. So we kind of put it together, not just as a site to list yourself if you're looking for work, but also kind of a resource for people looking to help others and looking for help themselves. So I know a few people here have talked about side projects that could potentially, help others in the industry. So we love promoting those on our site. We have a section dedicated to it. And on our LinkedIn, if you follow us, Jess, she's a producer. She's awesome. And she does it a little more than we do, but we post open jobs we come across on LinkedIn every day across pretty much every department in the industry. So yeah, we do it in our free time. It's just 3 of us. So, in between work when we can, and we're really just trying to get people back on their feet during COVID. That's kind of been our main goal. And, we work with a lot of recruiters and agencies who kind of, even if they don't have jobs available, they have kind of used us as a Rolodex or a future Rolodex in case they need someone in the future, whether it's creative account strategy and so on. We've got post-production and everything. So yeah, that's the Avail List.
Well, you should write me, Jeff, because have you ever heard of Genius Steals?
I don't think so.
So Genius Steals is this awesome newsletter that has tons of creatives on it, and creatives of all levels globally, and a lot of thought leaders. So the people who hold the golden keys to jobs that may be open, right? And they have guest editors of the newsletters, and I've done it before for them. So I'd be happy to introduce you, and that way you could guest edit one of their newsletters and talk about the Avail List in the newsletter for them, and you'd be reaching this whole new audience. And for any of you guys who are interested in that, look up Genius Steals. They're a nomad creative agency, and they have a network from all over the world. So they're a really great place for any of you guys to be able to promote. But it's a really cool idea to, like I said, you could go on someone's podcast, but like, here's another idea where you can write the newsletter that already goes out to an existing audience of engaged people. Very cool. Yeah, I'd love that. I think any way we can kind of help get the word out and help kind of convince recruiters and agencies to kind of utilize the site is pretty much what we're going for. Yeah, definitely. Reach out to me. I'll introduce you to Rosie and Ferris. Awesome. Thanks so much, Allison. No problem. All right. I'm looking back in the chat. Nayli, visual design and social justice based in Portland. Awesome. Wavering Stripes.
I just
this is really
unmuted
cool.
Nayli.
Hello.
Hi, Nayli.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. Tell us about your project.
Yeah, Wavering Stripes is a project I made recently. As I'm a daughter of immigrants, and I'm really passionate about social justice. And so when immigration detention it was really like, high in the media, of course, it's something that really needs to be resolved and like have people pay attention to. And so I decided to take on just like a side project while I was in school, to create this like interactive website. And I launched it in August. And right now I'm looking for work, and I've been trying to share it and like elevate it to kind of, like you mentioned, like perhaps one day, get my dream job and stuff. And so I'm also just hoping to share it so that people hopefully donate to Wavering Stripes and learn more about Detention Watch Network, a company or an organization that I like collaborated with for the project. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I would totally write like Vice and editors and see if you can get it in there. Like just go on and look for names of editors on LinkedIn and send it their way. But also, this is a great project, just like the Bong project, to be able to say, hey, this is what I've been working on during quarantine. I'd love to have a digital coffee with you to hear more about your career and tell you a little bit about mine, and just use it as an opening. You don't have to necessarily blow up everything you do with press. Does it help? Yes. It gets you more people knowing about your work, but sometimes it's just an interesting starting point that makes you a memorable candidate. You know what I mean? So if you want to send me an email of like how you usually introduce yourself with it, I'm happy to look at it and see if there's any tweaks that need to be done.
Yeah, that would be really helpful. Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else? All right, I think we. Taria, anybody? Would you like to go? I think we kind of got everybody.
You have Brian talk about his music. He submitted.
Brian.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna let you off the hook. I saw your name.
Come on in, Brian.
Message in the chat if you're up for it. I don't want to like force you on.
Oh, awesome. He said yes.
Okay. You're on, Brian.
Yeah. Hey guys.
Hey.
Thanks for doing this, Allison and Josh. Obviously, yeah. It feels more frivolous and selfish to talk about, but I did make my first album.
Congratulations.
Well, thanks. I stuck to the release date of May, thinking that COVID would blow over or something, and I'd still be able to have shows to celebrate it. But alas, yeah, I guess I was wondering, since I have you for a second, how to craft a story around something that's less mission based.
Yeah. Well, I think, what would be really interesting is that I'm seeing happening right now is brands wanting to find unique ways to stand out on Instagram. So I'm seeing like country Western shoe stores having guest DJs playing country Western music on Instagram Live. So imagine if you came up with a list of brands that you think aligned with your music and the people who listen to your music, and you DJ'd Instagram Live on those brands and converted those people over to your Instagram.
Wow, that's amazing. I've seen some stuff like that pre-COVID, sort of like within.
But like people are on lives. Like, why not have a concert on live, and see if a brand will do a little partnership with you? What are some brands that come to mind that you think of that might be even local, local ice cream shops, local, like things that aren't open, local music venues that aren't open, but want a way to, serve their audiences right now?
Right, right. Those are wonderful ideas. I had not considered that at all.
Yeah, I think, the reason that I showed you guys my Halloween side project was that I tapped into the idea that people weren't doing anything for Halloween this year and feel really hopeless about the future in their careers right now. So I created something that they get something in the mail that's going to surprise and delight them, and then a Zoom event that matches, right? I thought about my audience and their key like, frustration. So think about your audience. They're music, they love music and they love going to shows. So how do you get in to the other things that they like? They like Instagram, they like what, maybe some burger place that you like, and that they follow what else do they follow that you could write them and say, hey, why don't we do a partnership? And most of the time they're not going to charge you for that. They're actually happy that you created content for them. You know what I mean?
Right. Wow. Yeah, that's great. I'm also I'm a copywriter, so I don't spend as much time on this. So having these kickoff points is it's priceless. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, of course. And you have any other questions? Can I give you any other ideas?
Man, you just gave me so much. As a matter of fact, I was just inspired to start an Anchorage, Alaska chapter of Creative Mornings. That's
awesome. Get Cave Day to do something for you.
Yeah, I will do that. I'll look into that. Thank you for those killer resources.
Yeah, awesome.
This has been great.
All right, we got Allie. Allie, do you want to go live? Put a yes in the chat if you want to go live, or I can just answer your question if you don't want to go live. Okay, let's see. I have a side project in its infancy stages of an art club for creatives and its agency to work on side projects. Cool. Right now it's me and industry friends who meet digitally one every few weeks and make time to work on our side projects, or sometimes there would be a fun creative theme like we all draw a bicycle. Would it be okay to email? Yes, email me. I love this, and I love collaborating with illustrators especially, so I think that this would be a great idea. I've gone to like drink and draws before, so that's actually something that's kind of a cool idea. You could do this for creative mornings, Allie. Definitely something that I could help you figure out how to set up as a class. So awesome what you're working on. I love it. Cool. All right, well, all of you guys have my information. Please email me. I'm happy to brainstorm with all of you, and I hope you enjoyed the class. Feel free, I'm putting my personal Instagram that I'd love to make friends with you guys. It's just right there. Brian just gave us some tunes to listen to, so I'm gonna click on that right now so that I have that, and I'll stop sharing for a second. But it was so nice to meet all of you, and thank you so much for the opportunity, Sideshow. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you so much, Allison. And for anyone who's in here, make sure you check out some of our other programs this week. We have 13 other ones plus the award show for Friday night. So a lot of stuff you can learn and hear some of really big names in the industry talking about. It'll be, I think, a really good week for everyone if you have time to check them out. So. Right.
And I'll email everybody with notes from the class. So hopefully I'll get those email addresses and you'll get something by the end of the week from me.
We have all your emails from when you registered too. So thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right. Thank you, Allison.
Thank you.
Bye.